All right, which team's coaching vacancy is the most appealing? Now, technically, there's only 2 vacancies at the moment, right? It's the Saints, it's the Jets, but I think we can expand this to who will be open. I think we could say Dallas at this point. I think we could say someone like Jacksonville are very likely to be open. So include any vacancy that you think is likely to be open at year's end. Pete, I'll start with you. Who do you think is the most?
Jacksonville's the best job because you have Trevor Lawrence.
Mm-hmm. You get great weather and the tax.
And no state income tax. And you got an owner that is loyal almost to a fault. Well, to a fault. I will say it. He's to a fault. But it's only a good job if they get rid of Trent Baalke. If they don't get rid of Trent Baalke, it is not a good job. It's a bad job. So if they get rid of it's got to be a package deal. Doug Peterson and Trent Baalke both go. Great job. Trent Baalke stays. Doug Peterson goes. Bad job. So I put the asterisk next to it. But
they don't get rid of Baalke at this point. We got to check his hard drive for some nudes of Shad Khan or something of that nature.
That's hot.
It's amazing. It's amazing to me that they won't get rid of him. But
that's what I'm saying.
If they don't, then it's a bad job. But if they do, it's a great job because Trevor Lawrence is the quarterback. And I think what they've done to Trevor Lawrence is criminal. They have rendered him into something he isn't, which is an average quarterback. He's better than that. And they play predictable. Their offense is predictable. The bubble screens. They don't use the 4 targets last week for Brian Thomas. What are you doing?
Yeah. The only pushback I'd go on that, and I agree, I would love to have a guy who I would consider a surefire franchise quarterback at this point. That obviously makes any job opening attractive. But they are in a bad cap situation right now with with what they did in free agency this offseason, some of the contracts that they have on that roster at the moment. That it's going to be a 3 or so year process, in my opinion, for them to really get the talent to reload. And they're going to have
offensive line issues they have to address. Yes. I get it, but there's a lot of easily dumpable contract Kirk, goodbye. I mean, Parker Washington to be your slot receiver. There's ways.
Like you mentioned,
you have a core of young guys that you can build that thing. You have 2 pass rushers that are, but by the way, they're both really good. They're just not dynamic edge, beat you off the line guys. They're good players. So you have a core there. I just think that because of the quarterback, it makes it that much better. The Saints situation is by far and away the worst in football. It's awful.
I call it the worst since the Texans post Bill O'Brien era.
That might even be worse than that. It's worse than that. It might even be worse, except Jack Easterby was there. So that was
right.
Jack Easterby.
It's a blast.
But it's bad. It's because the cap. Yeah. The cap situation is awful.
It's a wild couple of years. The hell are we doing? What the heck are we doing? Sorry.
Right.
But I've seen Saints fans being like, oh, the cap's still fake because they've done it for so long. It's like, no, you are against it. I saw even the cap guy, Jason from Over the Cap, being like, they're going to struggle to even get under the cap. They're going to have a lot.
Yeah, because everything was pushed out for years.
There's the money that they kept playing with to push out. There's no more of that to find. They are really, it's going to be very difficult for them.
And is the quarterback any good?
Yes.
That's the other part of it. Is the quarterback any good? And he's got big cap number. The worry is
to do it, you're going to have to restructure his deal.
Right.
Which is
do you want to?
Do you want him on the roster for 2 more years?
Yeah. So I think the Saints is the worst of that group. I think Dallas is in a great situation, but they are the Cowboys. Think about that. You're the coach of the Cowboys.
Yep.
So that makes it a decent situation.
That's why I say the Chicago Bears is the coaching vacancy that I think will open up, that will be the most desired. And I think it's got to be an offensive-minded guy. I mean, I'm pairing Ben Johnson with Robert Saleh in my brain right now for DC and head coach. You need an offensive-minded head coach. I think you need to get rid of some of the spare parts that you got in Chicago right now, some of the expensive parts that you're not necessarily getting a lot of production out of. But I just look at this
names.
Like Keenan Williams.
Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
That was a bad move. That was a bad move.
Keenan Williams.
They should have kept Darnell Mooney.
Look, and there's been mistakes along the way, but at the end of the day, I just think that with the talent at the quarterback position, and I know that's a bad word in football, talent, ability, that's what Caleb Williams has. He's got a lot of talent. I think with the right offensive-minded coach, you can have really good things happen in Chicago, and we all know that the confidence of these coaches is not lacking, and they all think that they have the answers to be able to fix these guys. Not necessarily that Caleb needs fixing. He needs some bolstering, I would say, and he needs some foundational work to be able to get this thing rolling. But the Chicago Bears, it's a crown jewel franchise. In my opinion, the best sports city in America, got the best fans.
I agree.
What's not to love about that job?
It's a great job. But you hear rumblings that Ben Johnson wants a small market team. I think his family is, I don't know where his, so I think Ben Johnson in Jacksonville makes all the sense in the world.
Well, we'll take Liam Cohen then.
You will?
That's
a quick jump, though.
Well, if Ben Johnson wants to go to a small town, he can't handle being in Chicago.
But here's the other thing. Here's the other thing.
Cohen, he was OC for the Rams.
Yeah.
Also, though.
Yeah. But here's the, and he was great at Kentucky too. But here's the other thing is we don't know how any of these guys are going to handle the room like we talked about with other guys. The trend lately has been Dan Campbell, hire good coordinators.
Yeah.
You handle the room. Dan Quinn, you handle the room. Mm-hmm. And I think, are they moving in that direction? So I'm a big believer in the guy. First and foremost, he's got to let his coaches coach and handle the room before his offensive mind kind of overflows and shows off what
That's why you get a guy like
who's your best room handler on the market?
I think Saleh would be a really good option.
I think he fumbled the room handling.
Yeah, but that was a really toxic situation. I feel like you've got so many young pieces. You've got real talented group on the defensive side of the ball, a group that'll buy into Saleh. They understand he's got pelts on the wall as a coach, and he left New York in a bad way. It wasn't his choice. You get an opportunity to go to Chicago, a team that Aaron Rodgers says he owns. What's better payback than getting after the Packers?
What pelts on the wall does he have?
Saleh's had some really good defenses.
Well, as a defensive coordinator.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. But he got
when
a little.
I have a coach, first thing I say is bring me the film from the teams that they've coached. And if I was a defensive player and I looked at the Jets' defensive film, I would say, get me the guy who leads those.
But he got a little thin-skinned as the head coach, and he was talking about. You're talking about
the head coach, though.
You're talking about being a head coach as a guy who could lead the room.
No, I'm saying my room leader could be the DC and have Ben Johnson just be the guru. That's a wizard. It's 2024. It's about to be 2025.
You got to have a room.
It's a brand new.
You got to have a room leader, though. If Ben Johnson's the room leader, fine. He's the room leader, and he's the coordinator.
I don't know him like that. I've never been in a room with Ben Johnson, but what I've seen is his offenses play, and like I said about Saleh's defenses, I would be chomping at the bit to get involved with that. I mean, if I'm an offensive lineman, there's nobody else I want to.
Here you go. Here's two more: Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin, room leaders. Yep. Both Harbaughs, right?
Dan Quinn,
right? That's room leaders.
All right, my best coach in Vegas is the Jets. I think they have the most talent. Now,
what's the quarterback situation?
They're going to need a quarterback, but they have the most rookie talent, and I think it's not even close. You have, Elijah Vera Tucker, Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson, Breece Hall, Will McDonald, Olu Fashanu, all on rookie deals still. You have, higher paid guys outside of that who are impact players like Quincy Williams, a Quinnen Williams. I just think it's a really good.
But if let's assume the quarterback situation plays out where he retires.
Yeah, I think it's going to, right?
Right. Yeah. So if he does, that's not a good job.
It's going to be difficult to find one. You won't be in
Tyrod Taylor
drafting range.
You're not winning.
You could attract one.
You're not winning anything with Tyrod.
With Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson on that roster, I think you could attract a quarterback.
Who? Sam Darnold? You gonna bring him back?
It's tough.
You gonna bring Sam Darnold back?
Sam Darnold.
But yeah, I just think the core is there to win with. But yeah, I agree.
I'll take my quarterback before I deal with but not having a quarterback. I want my quarterback.
But you get leash usually when you don't have a quarterback in the NFL. You get some,